Well, on our lovely drinks map, the prime focus diagram, we show some things on the diagram towards the left and some things towards the right. And the reason for that is there's a bit of left brain and right brain thinking that goes on. So results, I like to think of as our logical, rational, tangible measure of our progress towards the vision. So they're specific measurements. People are rarely motivated and inspired by a set of results in a management report. They're much more likely to be inspired by a felt sense of success. So that's on the right of the framework. It's much more right brain, it's creative, it's innovative. And the other thing is, it's a feeling, and it's a feeling that if you don't do anything about it, stays with the individual. Individuals know how they feel success when they're given the chance to think about it. But if you want to create a shared sense of success in a team or in an organization, there's only one way to do it, as far as I know, and that is to give people the opportunity to share what they feel by way of success. And for example, as maybe just as an idea, getting a bunch of people in a room and saying, okay, this organization we work for, just say what success means to you, and get people to listen, deeply listen to what their colleagues are saying, and then ask them again, from what you've heard, what really inspires you? And out of that will come this sense of success. And then the leader, having heard that, can put in place some structures and mechanisms for making that work for them. So if something is really a felt sense of success, if we're working in the field of health and every time a patient's life is saved or whatever it may be, or somebody goes home well, then, that's time for a celebration. But are we so busy that we forget, that we don't take the time to celebrate? Do you know what? We saved somebody's life today. Let's just pause, remember, and encourage each other. It makes people remember why they've come to work. And so just really understanding the diversity of success that goes on in an organization and building that into our structures and processes is so powerful. It was an engineering company, and it was the breakfast before a workshop with the senior team. And the CEO had breakfast with me because I hadn't had a chance to speak to him for the week leading up to it. Busy guy. And I said, how are you going to kick off this workshop? And he said, well, I'm going to talk about the numbers and how we've been successful in making a profit in the last month and how our turnover is growing. And I said to him, when you meet with a customer, because I knew he was very good with his customers, I said, what do you talk about? And he started to talk about all the various engineering projects that they were involved with, the way that they were pushing back the frontiers of engineering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I felt inspired. And he was much more inspiring when he started to talk about that. So I said, given what you've just said, what's the best way to kick off this workshop? And he looked at me and he smiled. And he didn't need to say any more. And when he got in front of that senior team, I mean, it was more than just the board, it was the next one down as well. When he got in front of that audience, he started to talk about the way that they were helping engineering to be a force in the world. And not long after that workshop, I was so pleased that in the stonework at their headquarters, they'd got embossed the words engineering the future. And I thought, well, this is where Prime Focus is a living, breathing ecosystem, in effect, because one thing leads to another. Because if we discover that something is really important to any of our stakeholder groups, in other words, this is their sense of success, then there's a good chance we can allow that to kind of re-infect our purpose and vision. Because if something is really important to us, it's a means of judging our success, then perhaps it should be reflected in who we are, why we're there, and where we're heading. So in a way, the success should breathe life into the purpose and vision of the organization, and then ultimately be reflected in the systems and processes and in the behaviors so that those success factors get celebrated, get shared, and potentially get measured. If it's so important, I used the example a little while ago about lives saved. If lives saved is so important, why are we not measuring it? How do we know how many lives we're saving through this work that we're doing, or whatever it may be, depending on the organization. And so, having that sense of understanding what success means and building it back into the system is really important.